He is Hot 96.3 All Hip Hop and R&B Naptown station for the hip hop, and I am B Swift, your heavy hitter DJ. And today I got a special guest with me. The guy you don't see him, but you see all the brands he represents everywhere, no matter where you are, especially if you're in an urban nightclub. Is just very heavy right now. Brett Berish, CEO of Sovereign Brands. Sir, how are you this afternoon?
B Swift, I am awesome. I'm excited to be here talking to you today. It's Friday and we get to have some fun.
No, we do. And I'm excited to talk to you because, I mean, 21 years you've been in this industry and the game has changed so much. And it's so much I want to talk to you about. I know you got a short time, so we're going to get right to it. Talk to me about you getting into the spirits business. What made you decide that's what you wanted to do?
Well, I think two things happened. One, I until I was in my 30s, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And that's the worst situation to be in. When you're lost, you don't know what direction to choose, and you don't know what to pick. So that was one thing. And the second was the liquor industry was home for me in the sense that my dad was in the business. I grew up in the business, and it's something I always had a lot of passion for. And I guess there's a third is brands. I love brands. I just like touching and feeling things, like tangible things, and brands are that.
Right. Now, let me ask you this, because my father was in the music industry and I grew up running in nightclubs, watching him play in stadiums and things like that. And I always got the sense that he didn't really want me to be in this world and in this industry. And as I got into radio at 19 years of age, I watched his face kind of change. Like, I don't want you to do this, but I'm cool with you doing this. Did you go through the same thing?
100%. He couldn't stand. He didn't want my brothers and I, who are now in the business too, to be in this business. I can't fault him, because I think it's the idea that, you know, he wanted something better for you. If you know what I mean? That mentality. I think, you know, and it's also, I think if you think about it, right, I never thought about it this way. If I don't succeed, does he kind of take responsibility because he was in that space? You know what I mean? But he didn't want it. He hated it. And I think when he finally came around is when we were successful. But that's not a bad thing. That's just a parent being a parent. And, oh God, thank God, you know, mentality.
No, definitely. And again, like you say, you've done this 21 years. You've had your hand in different brands, whether it's Ace of Spades, whether it's Douce, and now it's these brands that I have behind me and that you have behind you. How much of a risk was it for you to say, you know what, Bel Air is my thing. I'm leaving this over here. I'm leaving this over here, and I'm running with this. And we're going to start it from the bottom and bring it back to the top.
It's the best and worst thing. On one hand, picking something, and that's the key to anything in life. I just decided to pick something and focus on it. And, you know, before, my concern was, Jesus, what happens if this doesn't work? Did I pick the right thing? You know? Mm-hmm. But once I chose the industry, then it became easier. It became easier and easier because I just fell in love with what I'm doing, and everything else, as long as you focus, everything, other things come along. It's never going to change. You're never going to run out of ideas. And that's one thing I learned. It's like, that doesn't change who you are. It just is, you can get stronger. It gives you more opportunities.
No, definitely. And the way you focused in on this game is crazy because, again, when you come and you drop a Bel Air, you instantly automatically, in my brain, when I seen Bel Air, I'm like, uh-oh. Now, does this compete with the Moets or the Aces and da-da-da? And how does it survive? I mean, especially in an urban culture like we're in, and you see the Jay-Z's popping this, or you see the Puffies popping this, or you're watching the NBA games and they're popping this when they win a championship, and then you come with this brand new champagne per se. Did you know in your mind that I really have a chance to find my way in and not even be worried about the other guys?
I think, you know, and I've got the scars and I've got the wounds and of making mistakes. I think you can't be like everybody else. Even if you see how other people are moving, you can't move like them. That's not you. And you got to own your position. You know, with all my brands, what they all have in common is no one believed in them, but I had to believe in them, or my team had to believe in them. That's what matters. Or, you know, you said something initially that I think is so important. The game has changed, but for 21 years, The brand building on my side, what's in the bottle, the taste, the liquid, that's remained the same, meaning it's got to be the best. It's got to taste better than everyone else's, because as long as I know it's better, I will always win. I will always win. And they taste better, so therefore they're going to do well.
No, and that's a fact. As someone who's I prefer the taste of a Bel Air over some other things. Like, it's just better for, you know what I mean? Like, it's enjoyable, and you don't say I'm just drinking bubbles because it's expensive.
Exactly. There's so many, whether it's big companies who compete against me who failed miserably on brands, or celebrities who failed on brands. But at the end of the day, it's got to be about what's in the bottle. It's got to be. You can be the greatest, on-air DJ, but if you can't talk, you're not gonna be successful. You could be the greatest singer, but if the song sucks, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It doesn't matter. It's got to be you got to buckle it up, and everything's got to be good.
Now, one thing I love about you is relationships. When it comes to Bel Air, the way you have Ross in place, or whether it's Khaled, when you look at McQueen, the way Wiz Khalifa's in place, or you know what I mean? And I can go to Lil Wayne and just other people. How important has it been for you to build relationships to just be like, you know what? Even if it's not business and you don't even rock with this and post this, we have to, I just want to be in your working space and in your mental space.
It's everything. It's everything, because the way at least we've approached it is, I don't want it to be a transaction. I want it to be an organic relationship that builds, because I don't think of it as that I'm going to work with you for, okay, this is a 3-month contract and we're done. No, we just got to know each other. Like, now we're in sync. Now we understand each other. Let's build on this. So it's relationships. Whether it's Moneybagg Yo or Post Malone or Steve Aoki or Rick, I can call any of them right now. Like, we've been doing it for years. And if I can add value to their lives outside of my space, good, great. That's the point of this exercise, is we're all going to win-win out of this.
And I think that's dope, because like I say, when you look at a Rick Ross, who I was able to go to his house one year for one of his events, and it was Bel Air everywhere. Yep. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, everywhere you turn, there's a Bel Air bottle. And shout out to young Sav at the time, because Sav was with him, and Sav was like, yo, what's your address? Here you go. Here you go. I'm going to send you these. I'm going to send you this. I'm going to send you that. Here go the gold bottles. Take it. And it was just amazing, because I'm looking and I'm like, yo, the way they are embracing everybody and want everybody a part of it. And even still today, because I know Kelly Paul is my local rep here. And she'll call like, hey, you got this? I want you to taste the new blue one. It's everything you do, you've given to your team.
Yeah, but you want that, and it extends out, and it can be, you mentioned Kelly, or it could be, I think you know AO and PA.
Yep, PA's my guy. AO.
Our brand ambassadors, there's passion behind it. It's real, or community spirits in your town with Daryl, father and son, Daryl and Charles. Those guys are behind us. And when people are behind you, you don't want to let them down. You want to be there for them. You want to do things for them. You want to make sure you succeed, because if they win, I win, everything works together.
And that's the great part, because again, going to the AO and PA, my guys, and they've always called me, hey, we got this exclusive, it's not out yet, come and taste it. And I'm like, all right, I'll pull up. It's amazing, and it's just great to see working people able to gravitate towards other working people and say, we're going to help you achieve whatever your goal is. And that's what I take from you in the way that they move.
Correct. And what's neat for me is, if you look at AO and PA as an example, is they were Black Bottle Boys. And now they're on Bumbu, our rum. And then after that, it's on to McQueen and the gin. And then now it's Vion. So if you think long-term, like, you're building something, we're all building something, we're all involved in this. So it's that big picture mentality. It's that family aspect that we try to take ownership of. It's that we're all in this together relationship. And that's part of these brands. It's not just the taste, it's part of who the culture of these brands are.
Nah, and that's dope. And speaking of brands, 4 amazing brands. Bel Air's going crazy. Last year, you dropped us off a new flavor, new color, the blue, which it has people going crazy. Everybody's looking for this. My little cousin's getting married, and she's like, "Can you go to buy me a case from Community Spirits for my wedding?" I'm like, "I got you. I'm gonna go find it, and I'll take care of you." When it comes to dropping the new flavors, what is the thought process in this, and when it comes to rollouts and worrying about it?
It's, you know, my first 6 years in this space, my biggest mistake was listening to everybody else. If someone tells me, when I introduced Bel Air, they told me, my distributors told me, it's not going to work. You're introducing a rosé first. You put it in a black bottle. You shouldn't do that. You can't do rosé. You can't compete with the likes of Moet and Veuve. I would have changed everything. The difference now is you're in the game, whatever industry, whatever medium you're in, because you believe in it. You believe in what you're doing. And blue is that example. In normal world, wouldn't do it. But I believed in it. My team believed in it. The color is impeccable. The taste is amazing. It's like a supermodel. Doesn't take a bad picture. It was supposed to be limited edition. That's what it says on the bottle. It's the hottest single brand in the US, wine or spirit. And it worked. And everybody was in sync, whether it was Gucci Mane or Rick Ross or Kodak Black, all these guys coming out saying, I'm going to support the shit out of this. Oh my God, that's an amazing feeling. But it shows you got to trust your instincts, trust your gut, try things. Luckily it worked.
And I like that you said that, try things, because 2021, and even in 2020, going through this entire pandemic, it seems like the world has started to try things. And by that, I mean, we've had more people quit their jobs and become entrepreneurs at this point and say, you know what, I'm going to try on my own to be successful for myself. And with you doing this and being on your own, competing against bigger brands and things like that, what would you give somebody as advice that's out there as that entrepreneur, whether it's clothing, it is a spirit or anything? What would that one piece of advice you would give them?
I have lots of advice, but one, constantly pivot. It's every day you learn. Don't be afraid to, I tell my team all the time, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because as long as you learn from it, you're better this way, you're stronger. And for me, that's how we've done it, is constantly pivoting based on when you see success, go after it. If something is working, change it. If something didn't work, don't justify anything. For me, today it's pivoting. It's almost like a comedian when they do improv. The whole idea of a comedian telling a joke is he bases it off, he tells a joke and you get feedback from the audience and you tweak it a little bit and the joke gets a little bit better, and you tweak a little bit, gets a little bit better. That's what brand building is. You got to constantly tweak your art and make it better. One analogy I will always give, though, which I think is great, is in the music space. When I interview artists, I am shocked. 99% will tell me when I ask them, are you surprised about your biggest song? They're all going to say yes. My biggest song I never expected was going to be successful. That tells me you got to throw shit out there and see what happens. You got to see what happens. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, and I agree. As somebody who interviews them 99% of the time, when I'm like, yo, did you know? They were like, bro, I don't even like this song. Like, it's amazing, bro. Like, cause I didn't even want it on the album, and here it is, a million gazillion plays, and you can't stop playing it. And I'm like, are you serious?
Let the consumer decide. That's the beauty. If you think you're smarter than the market, you're not going to make it. Let the consumer decide for themselves. Let them figure it out. Let them show you what works. You got the talent. Now just let them see it.
Yeah, no, facts. Now, before I let you go, one thing I noticed was Brett has come to the forelight. You kind of was the quiet guy for a long time. You just stuck around in the shadows, unless it was an interview or an article saying something was happening. You wouldn't have known who Brett was. But within the last couple of years, you've come to the front and you've pivoted, like you said, and now you got self-made. Why did you start that series, interviewing artists and people?
It started. It's all, everything I do and my team, it's organic. And this is the idea of learning from your audience, learning from people you talk to. And one of the things that we noticed, if I use social media and Instagram as an example, people, they hold bottles. I hold bottles. I show them off, and it means something. You've done something, you achieved something, you've created something, And it made me realize we've done that too. And this idea of self-made, I've done it. But for me, the series, it's about the brands in the sense of self-made, but I wanted to talk to people. I don't like hearing success stories. I like hearing the up and coming, the hardship side. I can talk to you today. Jesus, as far as I'm concerned, you've always been on the air. This shit was easy for you. But if you get down to the core of the crap that you went through or the stuff that I went through to get here, I think that's really motivating for that next generation, or that somebody who wants to do in the liquor space or in the music space, who wants to be on air, to learn about the crap that you went through to get there. That's motivating. And that to me is the self-made side. That to me is our brands. That to me is the story that we're trying to give back and share.
And that's dope. And that's what I picked up as I've frequently watched the series. And again, you've had amazing guests, and anybody out there that's watching this should definitely jump on YouTube and watch Self-Made with Brett, because you're going to hear stories and be like, wow, I never would have known or never would have thought that about this person. I just thought they rocket shipped and took off, when that's not the case. You get the bottoms.
You use my brand, just use my brands as an example. You know, Bumbu is the #1 premium rum in the United States. It's in 70 countries. And when we launched it, no one told us to do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Like, that's the stuff. You're going to hear that. People tell you, whether you want advice or not. Yesterday, I just sent a note. I sent a note to my team today about, I had a call with somebody yesterday in my industry who still doesn't believe in us. He still doesn't believe in us.
Like, everywhere.
That's motivating. That's motivating. Like, I'm going to use that. I'm going to go after that. We're better than this. Like, again, you got to get past the naysayers.
No, and that's real. And before I get you out of here, because again, I appreciate you for taking some time to talk to me, because this is something I looked forward to for the last few days. Like, yo, I can't wait. 2022, you gave us something. You gave us the blue ice. That was the last thing you've given us. What can we look forward to? Because I know you're always cooking something up.
We got 3 things coming this year: 2 new brands and 2 new categories, which I'm so excited about. That I think they're years and years in the making. They fit everything we're doing. The taste is amazing. The package is gorgeous. The name is iconic. The story goes on and on. A possible line extension we'll introduce, which I'm really excited about. It's got so much character. You have me back on, and we will taste it together.
Kelly, PA, AO, y'all heard that. We're going to taste this together when it drops.
Done.
I'll say less. Listen, I'm going to make sure it happens again. I talk to Kelly all the time. PA is my man. Talk to him all the time.
Love Kelly. Love PA. Love all our supporters. Thank you. If you want to be a supporter, hit us up.
Yes, please. And again, I appreciate you for taking some time out. Maybe when you slide back through the Midwest one day, we can catch up. Even if I got to come to Chicago, you could take me around and give me some good hot dogs or something.
We're Midwesterners. We're all in this one. We got to root for ourselves.
Facts. And your Bulls are doing good. I'm gonna tell you that. I like that team y'all got up there.
A little tough run the past couple of weeks, but we'll get back.
Yeah, definitely some injuries, but like you said, they'll bounce back. But thank you for taking some time out. I definitely appreciate it.
Be Swift, thank you. Have a great weekend. Thanks again for having me on, and keep supporting Bel Air, Bumbu, McQueen, and Vion.
Yes, sir. Have a great evening, everybody. You go to the nearest liquor store, Community Spirits, and buy yours today.